What's up, everyone? It's Jimmy from South Bay Barber Institute. I just want to give you guys an intro to the channel. This is going to be my first video on this channel. I want to talk about all kinds of topics, barber related. I want to talk about personal, finance, business, everything, right? Down below or message me on Instagram what you guys would want to see, but I got a couple things I want to kick off the channel with. But first thing I want to start with is just a little intro of who am I. So yeah, I want you guys to get to know me. So right now, settle my things down. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about me. Hello, everyone. My name's Jimmy Perales, co-owner of South Bay Barber Institute. And this is a little bit of my backstory. I'm 25 years old. I've been cutting hair for about 10 years now. When I was about to turn 16, I picked up the clippers. The reason I even picked up with the clippers, to be quite honest, was I was always going to the barber shop, with my dad, sometimes the good shops, sometimes the bad shops. And after a while, I started feeling like I was getting a little particular with my cuts. Me and a good friend, we were always like, hey, we could line each other up. We could, clean each other up. Like, why pay this money? Why pay the barber at that time? And so at that time I was working in landscaping. Me and him were like, hey, let's save up some money. And, long story short, I saved up the money. He's not ready to make that investment yet. I went to Sally's in Morgan Hill, just down the block from high school. I went after school. I bought the corded Andis Masters, and then I bought the Andis T Outliner. So at that time, there was a couple of cordless clippers. I'm not going to sit here and say like there was none, but there was not that many good ones. Like that time I didn't know, but I started using the Magic Clip. That one was out. They had like the Andis Envy. So I bought the clippers. I started, just cutting up my dad. My dad put his trust into me, and he told me like, hey, I get a one on top with a high fade. You want to try it out? Go ahead. Did it in the restroom for a while. I cut him up there, and the cut was okay. It took a while, but I think that was just kind of like, for me, it wasn't even I wanted to cut hair like, hey, I want to do it so bad. But for me, I remember one time I cut up my little brother. He's 19 now. He was probably about, I think, 9, 10 years old there. And I messed up his hair, like horrible. So for me, I was just like, okay, look, I'm just a competitive. That's my nature. I'm super competitive. I was like, I need to get better at this just so I fix him. That's it. Like, I need to go do what I need to do. And I remember at that time, my mom was mad at me because he had pictures the next day. I was just like, okay, look, Mom, trust me one more time. So I watched some videos. At that time, I was watching 360 Jeezy and forgot who else, but there wasn't as many content creators as there is now. Just me being me, that competitive came out of me, and I fixed his haircut. Fixed it enough. It wasn't great, but it was definitely not horrible, and he could walk around. That was me in my early years. So that was me just cutting hair, going to school. I was going to Live Oak High School and, going around campus, asking random people, random friends, hey, can I cut your hair? And a lot of them put their trust into me. I'm really grateful for that. Along that time, me and Ricky, we're business partners now and lifelong friends. We started learning to pick up the clippers. He bought some clippers too. We started, helping and teaching each other. And that was a huge help, because the importance of having somebody next to you while you're learning something tough in anything, especially a close friend, is super easy, because I can call him up on the phone, tell him, hey, what's going on with this? I can't get this bald guideline out. I can't get this, half guard out. Like, what's going on? What could I do? And for me, that was super helpful. So me and him, we started doing our thing. He was cutting. He's 2 years younger than me. So he started cutting his, kind of like lower classmen. I started cutting the upperclassmen. And I feel like at that time in our head, I was like, we got the school on lock. And then we started, pushing social media a little bit more, making videos. And, for us, we were just so hungry. We're still hungry to this day. But in that moment, we were so hungry to just be known in town, to, as barbers. I think for me, that's one thing that I could relate with very well in barbering, and what helped me. Barbering has helped me not only become a better person, but communicator. You're forced to sit down with people every single day, a new person, from a different background, from a different ethnicity, anything, right? Have a conversation with them. So that's one thing I'm really grateful for in barbering. Going back to the story, we were cutting hair, we were doing our thing, and I think at one point I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? You know, at that time I wanted to go to the Navy. I wanted to, just go over and do something different. You know, I didn't have great grades, so for me that was like a way out. The Navy thing didn't work out for some other reasons, and I was just like unmotivated. You know, I didn't really have too many things like going on. I had cutting hair, but for me that was like in the back of my head at that time. I was like so focused on going to the Navy. For me, my dad, I remember one day I was just in my room. My dad, he wanted to sit down and talk to me, and he told me, hey, how much is the down payment for barber school? And so I told him it was $1,000. My dad told me, hey, I don't have much, but if you can meet me with half of that at $500, I'll pay for that half. And for me, I was like, that's a lot of money. You know, for me, like $1,000 is a lot of money. And for him to put that half in the 500 and to say, just get in there, I was like, okay, he's putting his trust in me, putting that much money forward for me. I'm going to go give it a try. So that next day I went into a barber school in San Jose and I signed up, and really that's where my life changed. I seen every single side of barbering, and I realized my place. I found my place was more as a businessman. Even from the beginning, I was like, I know how serious I take this. I know what I want to do with it. And I know what me and Ricky are doing are different. So for us, we just kept grinding. I was at barber school for a while. He came and joined school maybe about 5-6 months later. And we were just working. We would have conversations with each other, sit down and just tell, hey, we got to put our head down, save our money. At that moment, we didn't really know what we were saving our money for, but we were saving our money. As time went on, 3-4 years down the road, me and Ricky, we just said, hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this all the way in. So what we did was, like every week, every 2 weeks, we would make investments into, certain stocks, certain crypto, just into savings account. And we would just reach certain goals. Say, okay, by this date, we need to have this much saved up. Or every Friday, let's put this much. And we were just so disciplined. And because we knew each other were just 100% in, we just kept doing it, kept going, saving, right? Saving and living a minimal life. And for us, there was like, you get this energy from that and you get this spark from it. So for me, I was all the way in. He was all the way in. We kept cutting hair. We finished school, and he passed barber school, the exam to get his license the first time. But for me, and I think one of my motivations for even opening up the school is I failed the state barber exam 3 times. 3 times. So for me, I was horrible at tests. I feel like the education was not, great. I didn't take it as serious as I should have. For me, that is my motivation to you guys. If you guys are going to our school or to any barber school, is to take school serious. I know it's not the easiest stuff, and I know it might be stuff that you don't want to hear and you don't think you're ever going to use. But I promise you, if you just put your head down, study, and listen, it's going to pay off, because the ultimate goal is to get your barber's license, right? I mean, you got to be licensed to call yourself a barber. And to do anything, if you want to open, a shop or a school, you have to have that license, and that just shows your dedication. And I promise you, whatever it is, that 6 months to a year you're in school, it's going to be worth it, in your career in the long term. Eventually, we both got licensed, and, we were saving up enough money. We were both working at the same shop here in Gilroy, and we just, we're always kind of looking around at different locations. If a spot had a lease sign, we'd always be looking around. And one day I just call Ricky and I'm like, hey, I found this spot, bro. I'm like, I like it. It's dope. And he's like, okay, like I'm down, but where's it at? Or what's, what is it? What's going on? And I'm like, I sent him some pictures. I tell him, come check it out. You know, I think it was the next day. And I think that very next day we went to go sign the lease for that building, which is where the school is right now, is where our original Prolific Barbers was. That was the barber shop. So we signed the lease, and, you know, we just were dedicated to work. You know, at that time it was just being barbers, and we were locked in. So it was me and him for a while. We opened the shop, renovated, pretty much did everything. We had a lot of help from friends, family, and it was a team effort to get it up and going. And I'll post some pictures probably somewhere in the video right here of the barbershop, but it was really good. We had a lot of great memories in that front part, because if you don't know where our school is now, it's into 2 sections, but now where the barbershop was is where the main school floor is. So we did that, and we were at it for a couple years. We started adding team members. We got Armando. Armando was right next to me, and then we had Caesar. He's one of our head instructors now. So he was up there, and it was us, right? We had 4 guys, all same goals, and we were just dedicated. And then during this time, me and Ricky had always had the goal to open up a school. So that's where the hard work started. It took about, 2 to 3 years, give or take. And behind the scenes, every day, we'd go to work, usually like 8 or 7 to 6. We'd get off, we'd be working, and we're just iron sharpens iron. I'm really grateful for having Ricky as one of my business partners, because we're so dedicated and we're so driven. And when I'm down, he helps me up. And when he's down, I help him up. And it's just a solid team effort. So surround yourself with great people, and, the world really can be yours. It's just very overlooking on just how much hard work does. Hard work and good character. So wherever you're at, whether you're a barber, whether you're a student, whether you're thinking about barber school, or anything you're doing, just remember, hard work never goes unseen. So you put in, whatever you put in, you're going to get out. So that's kind of our story from the origin, right? From the origin up to when we were going to open up the school. In the next video, I'll talk a little bit more about the school and all that, but I kind of gave you guys a breakdown of how the school works. Now we're a couple years in, we've learned a lot. So I just want to thank you guys if you guys made it all the way to this point in the video. I know you guys might have had some questions, but I hope I answered a lot of them. So if you have any other questions, please message me directly, leave a comment, and I really appreciate your guys' support. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you.